Hi, welcome to Wrokdown. I'm Wendy Stapleton. We have a lot of well-known faces on this show, but they all need the support of experienced professional musicians. Now, these musos may be recognisable, you may even know their names, but what you may not know is that many of them write and record their own material. So we do our scouting and listen to what's available, and every now and then we'll find a gem. And tonight we have with us Gavan Anderson. And boy, you a gem. How are you, Gav?
Am I a gem? Thank you, Wendy. It's lovely to be here.
You're looking very Che Guevara today.
Che Guevara, yes, I've had that before.
Have you?
Yes.
Now, Gav, we do go back a very, very long way. So old. We go back a long way. I actually remember meeting you when I was about 13 or 14 in Essendon. And at that time, I think you were playing in a band with another Andersson, better known as...
Angry. Little Angry. Yes.
Although he wasn't called Angry then.
No, he wasn't called Angry then. He was called Gary.
Gary Anderson. And the band was Peace, Power and Purity. Can you believe it? It went from Peace, Power and Purity to Rose Tattoo.
Rose Tattoo.
Oh, well. Fabulous band. Fabulous band, and I remember that you actually were very young. You were probably the youngest member of the band.
No, I would have been the second youngest member, because I think Danny, who was playing bass, was the youngest member because he didn't have a car.
Oh, okay.
He didn't even have a licence. He was 2 years younger than the rest of us.
Was that the first band that you played in?
Look, it wasn't the first band, because I played in school bands and stuff, but that was the first thing that I had really attempted to do in more of a mainstream musical area. And the band was very into Led Zeppelin and Bob Dylan. Now there's two opposite ends of the spectrum, but it was interesting from that perspective.
Well, I really remember that we were all, even at 13 or 14, we were desperately trying to be hippies.
Absolutely.
I think I made my mother sew 100 bells or something on a coat, so everywhere I went you could hear me coming. It was groovy.
Yes.
But as I said, I've known you for a long time. You come from a very, very musical family. I mean, most musos, you can sort of trace it back to mum or dad or whatever, but your family... Yeah, quite exceptionally musical. Your sister Mary is with the...
with Orchestra Victoria.
Playing
She
harp.
plays the harp. Yes, the family does go back a long way. I can go back to the the late 18th century. Yeah, it does go back a long way. And my grandmother, that's my maternal grandmother, was the pianist, arranger and conductor of the Royal Victorian Institute for the Blind Orchestra back in the early 1900s.
Which, of course, all of that went on to be like carols by candlelight at the Maya Music Bowl and stuff like that. But I remember you playing... I can still remember it. It was Sweet Judy Blue Eyes.
Sweet Judy Blue Eyes,
The whole song you played, that was a long song.
It was.
We weren't allowed to put any other music on until you finished.
No.
That's why I remember it. But you were young and you were an exceptional guitarist, and I actually do remember that everyone was quite staggered at how you were classically trained.
No.
No?
No.
You were really, really very good.
I taught myself to play guitar. My sister had bought me a little nylon string for my 13th birthday, but I had learnt the piano. I'd been playing the piano, and I had also been playing the flute before that. And I mean, I still play both, but she bought me the guitar, and it was a challenge. And at the time I picked that up, my aunt, who ran a boarding house, had a young chap who worked for the civil aviation department who played harmonica, and he had a huge blues record collection. It was fantastic, and that is what really got me started with the guitar, was this old Negro blues collection of tens, God rest his soul.
You you played with so many fabulous bands.
Once I was working at the ABC in the recording department.
You were engineering,
yes.
Sound engineering.
And I really wanted to play, and what Peace, Power and Purity were doing was kind of very small, narrow focus niche thing, and I just wanted to expand horizon, so I started to go and do as many things as I could get into. And Rick Springfield, who'd gone overseas because he had Speak to the Sky, I think it was, that was getting him recognition
over there, yeah.
in the US. And he'd been MDing for Russell Morris, and Russell was looking for another MD, so I put my hand up and said, I'll do it. So I did that for Russell until Wings of an Eagle took off, and Russell then went overseas, and I became Yvonne Barrett's musical director.
There was the New Dream.
Jenny Johnson, who was the organist in the New Dream, had hurt her back in an accident at Birdie's Disco, and Alex, rather than replace that, decided to get a guitar player, and so I got put into that job, and I did that for about 18 months while Jenny recovered.
Did you record with him at all?
No, not many of the bands actually did. Alex used to go off and do that.
Oh, really?
On his own, yeah.
Oh, really?
And use session players and so forth.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he had a concept of what he wanted, and one of the things you'll learn in this industry is how not to be precious, because too many people are, and I think it holds them back.
Well, also the thing is that when you're speaking about session musos, and a lot of us spent a very, very long time doing session work, not just jingles, but lots of people's albums and stuff like that. You've got to be able to take direction.
Yes.
You're literally there to do a job that someone wants you to do this. You're not in there doing your own thing.
No.
So you can't be precious.
No, you can't. And somebody will turn around to you and say, no, that's not what I want. I don't want any of that at all. Can you play something else? And you've basically got to find something else to play.
Absolutely.
They might even suggest something, and it might even be
It
somebody
helps sometimes,
you don't like they're playing you don't like in particular, but they want you to play that style, so you do.
That's what you've got to do. Gav, we're going to take a short break, but when we come back, I want to talk to you about a band that took up many, many, many years of your life.
Oh.
And I think if you haven't heard of Bluestone, you've had your head buried in the sand, especially in Melbourne, yeah?
Yes.
We'll be back soon.
Wrokdown.
Welcome back to Wrokdown. I'm Wendy Stapleton, and my special guest this evening is Gavan Anderson. In 1976, you joined a band called Bluestone.
I did.
Now, I think at one stage they were probably the biggest cover band in Melbourne.
It was a pretty special time.
Terry Dean, Nigel Thompson,
John Creech,
Johnny Creech,
and myself,
and yourself.
And one of the beauties of the band was the fact that we all sang.
It was noted for beautiful harmonies. I mean, I remember you starting off at what was that pub in Essendon? DeMarco's. There for, I think Bluestone were there for a very long time.
An interminable length of time.
The Saturday afternoon gigs started all happening, and that was at the
Golden Gate.
The Golden Gate,
South Melbourne, which became legendary.
Well, literally the queue.
Yes.
Because I used to drive past. We'd be going down to either Metropolis or the
Town Hall. The
Town Hall Hotel, and be really envious because the queue.
You couldn't get in.
Was literally went round the block.
And I mean, we was invariably 300 people packed in there, and it's a very, very small corner pub in South Melbourne.
And you were there a very long time.
8 years.
8 years.
8 years. Well, I was there for 8 years. I think Terry was there for another 3 after that.
And of course, Terry went on to form a fantastic duo with Gary Carruthers, who is still playing around as well. as you are, and we'll get to that a little bit
As
later
we
on,
all,
because
yeah.
you're doing quite a few gigs at the moment.
Yes.
Live, a little trio. And the last few years also you have been playing with Andy Cowan.
Andy Cowan.
All over Australia.
Yes, I've been doing some MD things for Andy. It's very hard when you're a pianist who does their own songs and you're sitting out the front of a band. It's very hard to MD the band. So,
Yeah.
but Andy and I have been friends for a very long time.
You also are a bit of a computer whiz.
Well,
I can say that, you can't.
Yes.
All right. And you wrote music for computer games.
Yes, I came off touring in 1988, and I'd been touring with Max Merritt and Brian Cadd, and my daughter was about three, and I needed to be home more, so
You needed to get a real job.
I'd need to get a real job. Anyway, there's a job went in the paper for a musician programmer at a games company, and I applied for it and got hired.
Just with this computer business, and I mean, the thing is that, you know, I've only just recently learned how to successfully send off an email. I don't know where anything went a couple of years ago. I think there's lots of messages up there, but you obviously really got into it right at the very beginning.
I was very fortunate because my cousin gave me my first one in 1981 because he was a truck driver and he'd won a new colour computer at McDonald's because they had a scratchy thing, and he scratched it and won a computer, and he said, "Here, you can have my old one because it's got a chess program and I like playing chess." So that's what got me started. So by the time the PCs came along in around 1986 or 87, I'd already been playing with computers for 5 or 6 years, so I had my head around them, I guess.
Yeah.
So I got into it quite early, and I was a member of like a computer users group for a long time. And so moving into the computer games area I didn't find that foreign at all. It was just another way of writing music, and it was very interesting because I ding dong 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 dong. It's all, you know, dinky little thing.
Yeah, it's fair. Was it a Japanese company?
Yeah, Nintendo.
It was Nintendo.
Nintendo.
Yeah.
Nintendo software. And
So all of the do 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 do.
yeah.
It's
Bing,
Gav.
bing, bing. Just, you know, ba-ding.
Maybe you could do an album of that.
I could.
Yes.
I could.
So we'll take a short break and be back with Gavan Anderson really soon.
Wrokdown.
Welcome back to Wrokdown. I'm Wendy Stapleton, and my special guest tonight is Gavan Anderson. Gav, we're going to talk about these two wonderful albums that you've only recorded in the last couple of years, or
Yes.
But as you said, you'd been writing songs for a long time, although no one really knew it. How would you describe this stuff?
It's sort of country R&B with an Australiana flavour. If you have to pigeonhole things, which is really hard.
Well, I know it is, but I mean, the thing is that I could say this is fabulous, and no one, having really heard any of your material before,
Yes.
would have any clue really where you're coming from until they hear you sing.
Yes.
What brought this on? What brand?
Well, the Euthanasia album, I got that together to go and play at the Balladeers Songwriters Festival in Mildura in 2006, and during the set I would pull the banjo out and play a version of it's an old Australian sea shanty. And anyway, somebody came up out of the audience afterward and wanted to know if I had an album of my banjo songs. So
Another idea.
I thought, no, but I will have next year.
So when did that come out?
That's only just come out.
Yeah, okay, so it's really new.
It's really new.
And obviously, you've got a website.
I have.
Which is?
Is www.tarahall.com.
Ah, so it's not Gavan Anderson, it's Tara
No.
Hall. But that will also be on our Wrokdown website, which is www.wrokdown.com. So if you want any information on Gav, You can look at the Wrokdown website. But yes, the banjo country, when that comes out, you'll be able to sort of try and sort of set yourself up for all these wonderful country festivals.
Oh, the country festivals.
And finally go out as yourself.
Yeah, well, it is good.
Instead of
somebody's backing band. Yeah.
Which, I mean, is great. I don't think it doesn't matter.
Look,
as long as you're on stage
I
playing,
have a lot of fun doing it.
I know. But it is nice to actually sometimes be able to get up and it's your...
dribble off at the mouth talking about your own things. It's really fabulous.
You're going to do a song for us?
It's called Storm Boy, and I wrote Storm Boy one morning sitting on the beach at Tallabudgera, and it was... I'd gone to Queensland to pick up my drummer for the Mildura Festival, and it was early in the morning and it was hot, and I went for a swim down on Tallabudgera Beach.
Who's the drummer?
Michael Anderson.
Another Anderson.
Another Anderson. I always wanted to write something with a hint of Koori influence in it, because one of my friends from my teenage days was a young Koori friend of mine from Fitzroy, Warren, and he's actually born on the same day as me, so it's a
little bit of a dedication to him as well.
Yeah, as well.
Well, it's a beautiful song, and I happen to know for a fact that it's our producer's favourite track.
Oh, isn't that fantastic?
Yeah, absolutely. Gav, it's great to have you on.
Thank you,
And
Wendy.
I'm really, really happy that you have done these 2 albums, because it's been a long time coming.
Well, I'm still going. I'm still going. I've started work on the 3rd one, so...
Get this out first.
I'll get that out first.
You're going to do Storm Boy for us.
I am.
Thanks, Gav.
Thanks, Wendy.
Thanks.
How I wish that I could fly above the rainbow serpent sky, the crystal water from Wollumbin streams that Koori myth, the Australian dream. Storm boy, are you black or white? Storm boy, is it day or night? Storm boy, river red gum side, down in the Coorong where the spirits lie. Pelicans dream by the water's edge, Fingerbone Bill on Noah's fishing ledge. Percy lies down in the sand, blowing kisses on the hot dry land. Storm boy, are you black or white? Storm boy, is it day or night? Storm boy, river red gum side, down in the Coorong where the spirits lie. The young boy's heart cries out in vain, understanding of that world of pain, the senseless slaughter of his childhood friend. His perfect will comes to its bitter end. Storm boy, are you black or white? Storm boy, is it day or night? Storm boy, river red gum side, down in the Coorong where the spirits lie. Storm boy, are you black or white? Storm boy, is it day or night? Storm boy, river red gum side, down in the Coorong where the spirits lie.